Welcome to this hazard perception practice clips video. We'll show you 7 clips. 6 will have 1 hazard and 1 will have 2 hazards to look out for, just like in your real hazard perception test. After each clip we'll replay it and explain the hazard, where you should have clicked for maximum points, and tips for what to look out for to make the hazard perception test make more sense. Good luck. Let's watch this clip back. Hopefully you noticed that the lady on the zebra crossing was the hazard. The first indication that we have a potential hazard coming up is here. This is where you first see the zebra crossing, so you should be alert to the fact that this might cause you an issue you need to click for. As the white van progresses up the road, it reveals the lady walking towards the zebra crossing. The hazard has now progressed from a potential hazard to a developing hazard, and we should click here for maximum points. When the lady gets to the zebra crossing here, the hazard has progressed again from a developing hazard to an actual hazard, so the scoring window would close. Any clicks after this would get 0 points, because if you were only reacting to the hazard now in your car, it would be way too late. We should always click hazards at the developing stage. If you're not sure about the difference between a potential, developing and actual hazard, or how the scoring window works, then check out the first 3 hazard perception test training videos linked in the description. In this clip, the scoring window would be very small because the situation goes from a developing hazard to an actual hazard very quickly. As soon as the ambulance pulls onto the roundabout, the hazard is developing, and we should click here. The scoring window would close here. This is an excellent example of what happens when you only react when there's an actual hazard in front of you, instead of noticing developing hazards and reacting early. It's important that you take all the skills that you've learned in training for your hazard perception test and apply them on the road to avoid situations like this. With this clip, remember that a hazard is anything that makes you stop, slow or swerve. The situation at the crossing makes us both slow and swerve, so it's a hazard, even though we didn't have to stop. Let's watch this clip back. The first thing to notice here is we're approaching a crossing and our lights are on green. We should be alert to this as a potential hazard anyway, in case the traffic lights change. We then see traffic emerging from the junction on our left. This is now a developing hazard because they're in our path. If you were driving and saw this situation, you should begin to slow down. On your hazard perception test, you should click. The scoring window would close here. There are pedestrians and a moped still in our path, and if we're at full speed and didn't react by slowing down early, we'd either crash or have to brake harshly. Reacting to the hazard at the developing stage will avoid both of these things. Let's watch this clip back. When your clip first appears, you should scan the environment to think about what potential hazards you might see so you can be ready for it when it develops. When you're driving in traffic, you might be tempted to fixate on the car in front, but it's unlikely they'll do anything really unexpected, as they're following a train of cars in front of them. On a busy high street like this, the most likely hazards are going to be small road users like cyclists and pedestrians. If we're looking out for the correct things, we'll see this lady pop out from between 2 parked cars, clearly about to cross. This is where you should click for maximum points. We need to notice her early to avoid speeding up along with the car in front of us. Once she's already in the road, the scoring window would close. Spotting hazards early when they're developing and not an immediate problem is the best way to score top marks on your hazard perception test and keep safe on the road. Now you're getting the hang of it, let's see how early you can spot this next hazard. As soon as we spot the zebra crossing, we've got a potential hazard. Stay alert. How early did you spot the pedestrian on the left? They were slightly obscured by the pole on the pavement, and we can't tell at first whether they're walking towards or away from the crossing. This is a developing hazard. You would ease off the accelerator and begin to slow if you were driving, in case you need to stop. This hazard clip would have quite a long scoring window because the hazard is developing for a few seconds. But at this point the scoring window would close. The hazard has progressed again to actual, and if you are only reacting when the pedestrian is about to step onto the crossing, that's too late. Some clips really test your reaction time, like situations on the road would too. This hazard clip would have the shortest scoring window so far. The vehicle in front doesn't give us any time to react between when they signal and when they start braking. If your concentration is fatiguing while you're on your test, you might miss this. Stay alert through all the clips, even when you've seen the hazard, because remember, one of the clips will have two hazards. Did you catch both of these hazards? We see our first potential hazard here. On this one, it would be useful to use the 3-click method because it's not very clear where the hazard turns from potential to developing. You know this car will be the hazard, but to avoid clicking too early when it's just a potential hazard, click 3 times. Then you've got the most chance of being inside the scoring window at the earliest opportunity. Here's the second hazard. As soon as the blue van pulls out, you should click for maximum points. Don't leave it until here when they're clearly turning right, or you will score low or 0. This second hazard needed quick reaction times, showing why it's important not to switch off even when you think you've caught the hazard in the clip. If you're not familiar with the 3-click method, then check out the first 3 hazard perception test training videos linked in the description. Also, subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to turn on notifications because we're always updating and expanding the hazard perception playlist. Plus, when you pass your theory test, you'll find all our Learn to Drive and mock test videos really useful. Good luck on your test.